Yes, sir.
Ma'am, list has been shared with you.
Okay, thank you.
It is rightly said, be the change you wish to see in the world. Good afternoon, everyone. I, Snehi Agrawal, and I, Jinisha Karnatak, are going to be a host for this session. On behalf of Setu team and entire Little Scholars fraternity, we would like to extend a warm welcome to all dignified schools participating, respected teachers, and fellow friends. Also, would like to welcome the founder of Setu, Pankaj Bhalla sir, and our mentor, our principal ma'am, Mrs. Shikha Gautam. Setu, the Little Scholars Social Service Group, is an initiative to spread awareness on contemporary issues among millennials. We have been organizing annual events comprising of a series of planned activities culminating to a grand finale. As you all are aware, in the last workshop, we discussed about certain lenses to approach sustainable aqua and seek answers for several questions like availability of water around us, water and livelihoods, an issue related to water in our surroundings that needs an intervention. Most importantly, our panelists discuss about task 1 for our respective teams and the rules and the regulations that needed to be followed. Moving forward, I would like to welcome you all to this second workshop where classes 6 to 8 will be engaging in a common goal, reimagining waters around us. Today, in this session, we will be learning about the unique needs of water resources and the issue that needs an intervention. Not taking much time here, handing over the session to our illustrious panelists. All yours, Chavi ma'am and Darab sir.
Hello. Hi. So it was Arya and Jinisha, yeah, today?
Ma'am Snehi and Janisha.
Snehi and Jinisha. Okay. Hi. Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. So hi everyone. Welcome back. I hope you've had 2 days of a lot of brainstorming. Any comments from anyone? How were your 2 days? Were they busy thinking on water or how was it? Yes, we have a hermit crab who wants to say something. It was awesome. Okay. All right, never mind. So just very briefly, what we are going to do today is we would like to look at all of your illustrations or drawings that you have done. This is draft 1. We will give it a quick look, and the idea is for everyone to have a very short 2-minute presentation, and we will also all learn from each other's work. That's why, right, for this one, since the presentations are going to be only 2 minutes long, we are going to do this together rather than doing it in different groups. And today we will learn from what each of the groups are doing. So Team Setu, I think whenever somebody wants to share, maybe you can give them the sharing rights for that time. We can take it up as in when we go. And what we will do is we will sort of give you an idea that from what you have presented to us today, your illustration and the 100 words, where do we think how much you will score between 0 and 8? So today will be a rough estimate of that, and you will be allowed to change this submission, and the final submission will be of this one will be on 26th. After we have gone through all the teams, we will assign the task 2. Towards the end of the session, we'll assign you task 2. Both the task 1 and task 2 results from that, both their final submissions will be on 26th, when we will assign you the task 3, which you will eventually use for your presentations. We will talk about this. If there are any questions, we will also address them as we go on. But today's session, we'll do it together because we'll also learn from what each of us are doing. And if one has a question, it can be answered. And you will learn from other people's questions and answers as well. So that's the idea. So I will just read out again what was the basis of the rubric for task 1. And then we will start calling each team, and you will start your 2-minute presentation and the 100 words. Okay. So
and I'll keep track of time, Chavi.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. And also every time we call on a team, we will request all the team members to switch on their videos. That is mandatory. Otherwise, this task, you will get 0 points. Okay. All right. Yeah. So I'll read out the rubric that for task 1. So the first point was about observation, where what kind of water resource will your group be looking at? It can be natural or human-made. So you have to identify a water resource, water source or body, and then you have to understand it within its geographical relationship to your school or to your locality. Where is it around you? Like the reason being that it should not be some generic river somewhere 100 kilometers down. That is not something that you can actually work with, but something local to you that actually matters to you. It could be a tap, it could be a river, it could be a pond, it could be a puddle. You can decide what you want to look at, and then you have to identify who are the users and like what is it used for. Then the problem identification part. Here you have to talk about what are the problems you think exist in that, and this is also through the drawing. What are the problems do you think they exist? Is it pollution? Is it about inequitable distribution? Is it scarcity? We talked about so many. We had made the second list of what kind of issues and aspects are there. So that is another thing that we would like to see in your drawings. And in case you're not able to add some of these things in the drawing, along with the justification, along with who do you think is affected by the issues with this water body and how are they affected, you can also use 100 words. So that was the larger goal of task 1. And let's call upon the team Turtle Bay. So is the team Turtle Bay here today? Team Turtle Bay is missing. Okay, that's all right. Let's see which teams are here. Okay, I see Hermit Crab is here, and I think some of their videos are also on. That means they are very ready to talk to us. That's excellent. So I see 4 people from Hermit Crab. Ashi, are you also from Hermit Crab? No. Okay. So how many members are there in Hermit Crab?
Ma'am, there are 5 actually.
Okay. So is the 5th person here or no?
No, ma'am. He was having network.
Okay. And are there any teachers with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Are they here on the meeting? Can the teacher
yes,
just say hi? Can the teacher from your group say hello?
Hello, ma'am. Myself, Renu Tripathi from the team Hermit Crab.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So,
Thank you, Renu.
Hello. Yeah. So, can we have a look at the image that you have drawn? Can one of you share it?
Yes.
Setu team, can you help them to share this on the
Yes,
group? like as a screen share? I would also like all the other teams to be ready with a picture of their illustration or drawing, so that as soon as you're asked to share, you're able to quickly share it. This is the first time we're doing it, so we'll take some time, but let's not spend time in getting the image. And so keep your image and your 100 words ready. As soon as we ask for it, you should be able to present right then and there. Yeah. Okay, we see something. I see something coming up. Let's pin this, huh? Can everybody see this art? Yeah, very nice. Okay. So mind you, your drawing should talk to us about identifying the water source, and clearly identifying that issue that needs an intervention to resolve it. Okay, so I will let's hear from you in maximum 2 minutes. How are these two questions being addressed?
Your time starts now.
Groundwater is an important resource for agriculture. The excess fertilizers and pesticides and weedicides can lead to the pollution of the source as the chemicals seep into the ground and thus pollute the groundwater. This groundwater is also used for many other purposes. So this would lead to a lot of problems. When water is used carelessly and excessively, this can lead to waterlogging in the fields, and thus this could harm the plants as the soil will no longer be porous and the oxygen supply would cut off. Using excessive water for irrigation can also lead to the depleting of groundwater.
Okay. Okay. So
That was very good. That was just 1 minute. So you were well under the limit. Well done. Well done, Team Hermit Crab.
So good job on the time. Yeah, we would like to keep seeing the image, please. Yeah. So who is this person in the picture?
Ma'am, he's the farmer. He's the farmer. He works on the land.
And where is this place?
Ma'am, this is in Perumadara, Ramnagar.
So how far is it from where your school is?
It's actually a bit far from the school.
Okay, so but you can visit the place, is it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay.
Can you please turn the picture sideways? It's yeah, like that. Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful.
That's better.
And so one thing I think you should think a little bit carefully about, because the next thing you will think about is an intervention. So who is the person who's getting affected that you want to think of an intervention for? Is it for the farmer? Because you also talked about scarcity, right? So are you talking that this is an issue and the farmer is the one that is getting affected, and that is the person that we as a group want to help? That is not entirely clear. Okay, so you can think about it next time when you submit the 100 words or this one. And also next time we'll ask you to actually submit it through a form where you can load. So we'll be able to read it more carefully. But it is good you've shown evidence of site visit, and you are identifying a problem. I feel your problem is a bit too broad. You've given a broader picture. It is not a specific problem for a specific farmer that you think you can. Because remember, today we'll talk. So today when we talk about interventions, pay attention as to what intervention is it that you can do. And from that perspective, you come back to this image and think about what is the specific problem that you want to address. So that's what I want to add. Darab, is there something you want to say?
That's exactly what I wanted to say also. Thank you, Chavi, for zeroing in on that. So I'm also not very clear on who exactly is it affecting. Are we only talking about farmers? Are we talking about others as well? Because excessive use or overuse of groundwater could be a problem for people who are not necessarily farmers also, right?
Yes, sir.
Right? And pollution as well. So water pollution also could be an issue for many people who are dependent on that same water source. So we're not quite clear on that part. But as far as identifying the water source, the geographical relationship you've explained, who exactly are the users? You've said farmers, but how you would also explain how they're affected. You've said pollution and you've said excessive use of groundwater causing waterlogging. But I think it's the who is affected exactly that you need to concentrate on. But good job, team Hermit Crab.
Yeah. Okay, so now we will move on. So now we move on to which is the next team that wants to go. Let me see who is coming. So Angelfish Harbor. Yeah, please switch on your videos.
Yes, let us see the lovely faces of Team Angelfish Harbor, please.
And also keep your image ready. Teachers, students, I would request everyone to open their videos. And one of you can show us the image. Yeah, I see 1, 2, 3, 4 people from Angelfish Harbor. 5, okay, somebody, okay, wonderful. So is the whole team here? You can all unmute. Feel free to unmute yourself. Yeah, the team that is called, they can unmute themselves.
And could we please have the teacher with Angelfish Harbor also say hi to us?
Okay, so I do see a photograph.
Yes.
So let me pin that. Wonderful. So who? Let's first take a quick look at it. And then also have someone present it in 2 minutes, please. So which one of you would be talking?
Ma'am, I.
All right. Hi. Please go ahead.
Ma'am, can you see my video right now?
I can see your video and I can also see the image. Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
Could
Ma'am, should I start?
Could we have screen sharing, please? Yes, that's much better.
Okay.
That is much better. Okay.
Screen share.
Okay. Would you like to go ahead?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Can I start?
3, 2, 1. Your time starts now.
The sustainability of water resources is vital for the survival of our planet. Fresh water is a finite and
I
fragile
can't get
resource
the screen.
essential for. Ma'am, shall I continue?
Wait 1 second. I think somebody else's with audio is on. Can you please switch it off? Can you please mute yourself? Let only the speaker be on you know. Yeah. Can you please start again? Angelfish Harbor.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
your time starts now.
The sustainability of water resources is vital for the survival of our planet. Fresh water is a finite and fragile resource essential for drinking, agriculture, industry, and ecosystems. Through this painting, we have conveyed the need to conserve water and marine life as well. Untreated water is also a major cause of water contamination and needs to be taken care of. The solution to this problem is the sewage treatment plant, also known as STP, which can filter water through series of processes and release it safely into streams, preventing water contamination while also saving the marine flora and fauna.
All right. So Angelfish Harbor, what I see is that you've created a drawing and you have talked about the oceans, and then you've tried to explain how oceans are getting affected because of the wastewater that is something that we are creating, right? However, it is still a generic problem. Okay, although you have tried to make it more specific, and that is a good attempt, but which sewage treatment plant are you going to look at? Is this a treatment plant close to your wherever you are all living? Is that the site that you plan to visit? Do you know if there is a sewage treatment plant close to you?
Ma'am, we're afraid not.
Afraid not. So if it is not a sewage treatment plant, are you thinking of your project is going to be on water filtration, something to provide better treatment, let's say? Yeah. So what is actually a more specific problem that has not yet come up? So we would like you to think about it. Wastewater sewage treatment plant, but the reason being you will have to plan an intervention for it. So it could also be, when we talk about interventions, you can think about more. It could be filtration, it could be creating awareness. Okay, even that is fine. You could be creating awareness about this. So there are different kinds of intervention. So, but what is the, so what is, if for example, you have to create awareness, then that is your problem statement. And then you say, okay, wastewater is a problem which affects marine organisms, and people around us are not aware. So what you need to do is you need to probably ask a few people around you, do you know how our actions are affecting wastewater, affecting ocean waters? Do they know it? Do they know it? Out of 5 people that you interview, how many actually know that wastewater is a cause? Right? So that is the kind of research that is expected from you. And that is what makes your problem statement more specific and allows you to build a prototype or build an intervention that is actually possible and not something which is very generic. So the specific nature has to still come.
Kavi, could I add here?
Yeah.
I would also like to see you. I think it's very commendable that team Angelfish Harbor, that you're concerned about marine life, and I agree that it's a very relevant issue. It's a huge issue, but for the purposes of this project, we would like you to focus on a water source that's close to you. Okay. So recognizing you're looking at the big picture, and that's really good. We commend you for that. But please focus on a water source that's somewhere near you, either a water body or a water source. So like Chavi said earlier, it could be, something at your school.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, so actually we got this idea from near at Rudrapur there is a area called Sidkol. So we thought that there are the factories are there. So when we learned about that untreated water is like disposed of, so that's what led to the creation of the drawing. So that was the theme that we were trying to capture here.
That's excellent. That's excellent. And Sitkul, I think what you're talking about is it's the industrial development area, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's a very, very relevant, and that's also close to where you live and where your school is, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Are you able to visit this area and see for yourself the untreated water going into a nearby river or a stream or anything like that? Any chance of a field trip?
So we'll see.
Okay, good. So that's important, right? To actually make a field visit and see for yourself. It's a very relevant issue. And both Chabi and I we're very happy to see you talk about industrial, we call that effluent, right? So when it comes from our houses, we call it domestic sewage. When it comes from a factory, the wastewater that comes from a factory, we call that industrial effluent. Okay. So we would like you to focus on that and the local water body or water source that wastewater is affecting. All right. So that is was missing from your presentation. But we commend you for your drawing. It I think it shows the problem, right, Chavi?
Yeah, it does, and it's clear. There is a lot of clarity in this drawing.
Yeah.
Keep the drawing.
Yeah. So we really like the drawing. It definitely shows untreated water, and also you whatever you said, you presented it in under a minute. So that's also very commendable. You really stuck to time. You could have actually said more, and same with Team Hermit Crab. You could have actually said more. And just for the benefit of the teams to come, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you know when 1 minute is up by saying by putting my my finger up like this. Okay, so you're not guessing how much time you have. All right, so you know that you still have 1
Excuse me,
minute
sir.
left. Yes.
So actually it was under the minute, but I think the guidelines we received were like there had to be 100 words. So that's why it was like under a minute.
Okay.
Okay, understood. Well done. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah,
Thank
well
you.
done.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for all the effort you are all putting. It's very nice to
Chavi,
see everyone.
Chavi should. I just wanted to say that for your 2 minute presentation, don't feel like you have to read out your 100 words and restrict yourself to 100 words. Okay. In your 2 minutes, you can say more.
Okay, sir.
All right. The 100 words limit is only for what is actually written down. But what
Okay,
you, what you say on your presentation can definitely go beyond that 100 words. Okay, so don't feel restricted by that. But that's very nice of you, both teams, for sticking to that 100 words. And we hadn't anticipated that you would do that. So when you're making a presentation, you don't have to stick to what you've written. You can say more. You can elaborate on things, and maybe even you may have come up with something that you just thought of that's not written down in your 100 words. So you can include that. Right, Chavi?
Yeah, sounds
Okay.
good. So we'll move on to the next team. I am seeing Dolphin Lagoons here. Dolphin Lagoon. Can we have Team Dolphin Lagoon come up? Yeah, I see one person. Two, I see two people. Three, very nice. Okay, so I see three people. Are there more people on the call today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and I also see the image come up. Okay, let's spin the image. Can you rotate it in the other direction so we can see it straight? That works better.
Shall I start?
Better.
Yes.
Hold on. Oh,
Dara will tell you the
yeah,
window.
I'll. Okay, your time starts now.
Okay. I, Ashika from 7th Study Hall Girls School, will tell you something about our illustration that we had made. So the first and second picture highlights the current water-related challenges we face today. In the third picture, a refreshing sprinkler brings relief on a hot day, while the fourth picture shows a sturdy tube well providing water. It's important to address these issues to ensure access to clean water for us. Let's work together to conserve water, raise awareness, and find sustainable solutions. As we all know, every drop counts. Now, my good friend Prerna will take over.
Good afternoon, everyone. Now I, Prerna, from the team Dolphin Lagoons, will take over and I'll present my views on what aspects or issues related to these waters need transformation. Water scarcity, pollution, and inadequate sanitation are major problems today. We can address them by promoting water conservation, improving infrastructure, and implementing effective waste management systems. It requires collective effort and awareness to ensure a sustainable water future.
Okay, so I think one thing that is happening is that where a lot of you are not following the instructions is that we said that the written 100 words is to be used for justification. Okay, it is to be used as to who is getting affected and how they are getting affected, because sometimes it's harder to paint or draw, illustrate who and how they are getting affected. So I feel that these 100 words are becoming very generic, and I think the problem with this team also is that your problem identification is very generic. You are talking about big problems, but it's very hard to work with, water scarcity. Where is water scarcity? What is it about? And what I can't remember right now what are the other things that you said, but is this water scarcity in your home? Is this water scarcity in your school? Which water scarcity? Where is it happening? Is this because there is no water in the river? Is it because water coming from the river is not clean enough? Your river, the river close to your home. The idea is to identify geographically what is close to you, where you can actually make a difference. So from that perspective, does the team have to add anything?
And by the way, you only took 34 seconds. So you've got plenty of time left.
Yeah. But is there a site that you have identified around you where you want to make a change? Have you anything? Has the team thought about anything?
Ma'am, like we want to focus about it is ma'am, like the water scarcity and that the irrigation purpose for like the farmers use water like the groundwater that is available below the surface of the earth, and they are using it very excessively, and the water scarcity is coming, like that water is getting exhausted.
But how does it? Where is it showing in your image? These are the farmers who are using tube well. Is that what you're showing? And the sprinkler water is underground water. Okay. So so are the farmers? Are these farmers close to where you are all located? Can you visit these farmers? How do you know that there is a lack of water, or that they're using a lot of water? What is the basis of saying that?
Yes, ma'am.
So are these farmers, these farms close to your home or to your school?
Yes, ma'am. I'm close to my home.
close to your home, and you can visit and talk to them if needed.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I think from my side, the issue is that still it is more generic. The interaction, the relationship between the geography of this place where you want to have an intervention is not coming out clearly. I mean, the image is very good. The image now I see it shows a farmer also. I was not able to see that earlier. And it shows the sprinkler also. But what is really the water source? It's not clear. Are you only talking about underground water? Where is the water coming from in a sprinkler? I don't know that. Right now, the water that I'm seeing is more is above the ground. I'm not seeing underground water. And then you talked about water logging also. So it's a good place to start, but the specifics have not come in as yet. So that's yeah. So I think Darab can add.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And you've mentioned several problems. So you have mentioned water scarcity. You've also mentioned wastewater management. So I think you need to focus on one particular problem that you want to design an intervention for. And like Chavi said, you've clarified that the people who are affected by this problem are farmers who are somewhere near your home. What exactly is that water source is not clear, as Chavi pointed out. So I think those are the things that I would like to see you clarify for your in your text, I guess, and perhaps you need to modify your drawing as well. Maybe one of those panels you can change. I'm not sure what exactly the sprinkler is trying to show here. Would you mind saying a few words about that? Dolphin Lagoon.
That through a sprinkler system, the water is not wasted.
So you're trying to show by showing the sprinkler, you're trying to show a method of water conservation.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that makes sense. All right. And then as far as scarcity goes, what in your illustration is showing water scarcity? Could you please say a few words about that?
So water scarcity, underground water is wasted.
Yeah, but is there one particular panel in your illustration that's showing that? Because that's not clear to me.
So the tube well.
Okay. So you're trying to show which one is showing the tube well? Is that the one with the farmer in it?
No, sir, the last picture.
Oh, the last picture. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. And what about the picture above it? What is that showing? The one with the farmer in it?
That scarcity of water, wastage of water.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Dolphin Lagoon team.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so far, I must commend all of you, all three teams so far on your illustrations. You certainly have some very talented artists in your teams. That's very, very clear. And the other thing I would like to commend Team Dolphin Lagoon for was you showed some teamwork during your presentation. You actually had two people present. So good job, Team Dolphin Lagoon. We like that.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
So I want to add on a point. Can I?
Yes, of course. Go ahead.
So as she had mentioned in a 100-word explanation that there are many problems and there could be many possible solutions. I want to know her point of view about the solutions of the problems.
So are you from the same team?
No, ma'am, I'm from the Setu team.
Okay. So we are going to do the interventions today. The solutions, they have not, the team has, the teams have not gone into the solution part. Right now, they are looking into the problem part, and today we will talk about the solutions. So it would be sort of unfair to put them in a position to answer question which they have not thought about yet.
But
Okay, ma'am, sure.
yeah, but don't worry about that, because the second half of today's session is going to be about that. So we're going to actually, yeah, we're going to actually explain a whole lot of different possible solutions. Okay, and remember, we're talking about possible solutions in a time frame of 10 days, right? So a problem of water scarcity for farmers, for example, cannot be solved in 10 days by doing a physical intervention, right? But certainly you can make a start. You can identify that, okay, maybe the first step is to do this. So we're going to talk about that in some detail. We're going to give a whole lot of options and possibilities, and I think then you'll get a much clearer idea of where this is going. I think right now it's probably a little confusing, but don't worry, we'll clarify in the second half of the session.
So the next team that I'm seeing here is Lobster Kingdom. Can you all open your videos and show us your illustration?
Sure, ma'am.
Okay. All right. I think more people can open their videos, no? From the team, three of you. I'm seeing 3 of you. 4. And maybe a teacher as well from Lobster Kingdom can open.
Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon. Myself, Nandini. Actually, there's some network issue. Because of that, I'm not able to switch on my video.
Okay. Hi, nice to meet you.
Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon. Myself, Neelam Chog from the Lobster Kingdom. I'm just opening my video within a minute.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nandini. Thank you, Neelam.
Darab, can they start their presentation?
Yes. Are you ready? Are you ready, Team Lobster Kingdom?
Yes, sir. Sir, are you able to see our illustration? Is it visible
Yes.
to you?
Yes, it's visible. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Some
Okay. Your time starts now.
Good evening, everyone. I am Yashwardhan from Visionary School. Today, I am going to discuss about the water-related problem and their transformation, especially
Leon, our chart is not visible. Leon, Yash, our chart is not visible.
It's visible.
No, we can see.
No.
We can see it.
Yeah,
We can see it, Neelam.
Okay,
Are you
sir,
able to see it?
No, I'm
not able to see it?
Yeah, I'm not able to see that.
It's on. They're sharing. Screen sharing is on, right, Chavi?
Yes, it's on screen share.
It's on screen
But it's not on the screen, sir. I want to see that.
It's on my screen and it's on Darab's screen also. Are you on a phone?
Yeah.
Then maybe you have to switch the screen on your phone. Sometimes you have to, the screen share doesn't show up on the phone until you switch to the share screen. Maybe
Okay, no problem. No problem. Sir.
Is it showing up now for you?
No, it's not showing. Okay, no problem. Yash, you carry on. Yash, start. Yes.
Would you like to start again?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Your time starts now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Yashwardhan from Visionary School. Today, I'm going to discuss about the water-related problems and their transformations, especially of the river Kosi. Kosi is a major source of water for our area. These water-related problems are continuously affecting us. But a question arises, who are they affecting? See, the water-related problems are affecting farmers, recreational users, biodiversity inside and outside the rivers, and also the local communities. Now, how they are getting affected. Many industries situated in and around Kashipur are disposing their waste directly into the rivers. Khanan or mining is the major problem, especially in the Betal Ghat region in Nainital. Kosi is a sacred river. There are many temples built around it, like Garjia Temple, which is situated in Ramnagar, which has now turned into a picnic spot. People litter around the river, immerse idols, and also dump their garbage in pretend of religious practices. People wash clothes, bath using soaps and detergents directly in the river. This dirties the water and causes various diseases. Because of these
1
practices,
minute.
the water flow is decreased from 790 liters per second to 50 liters per second. Now, there are some transformations which we can do to resolve these problems. First, potable water treatment plants can be set up, protecting buffer zones and riparian zones, creating awareness about the transformation, and several means like green roofs, rain gardens, and permeable prevent can be used to prevent and build the houses near the river. Thank you.
I'm glad that you were able to talk about source, a water source, a water body, and in context of that, you're able to talk about what is local to that and in different areas. So that is good. However, the problem that you're addressing, you've still listed a lot of generic problems. Think slightly about out of all those problems in this particular project, which problem you would address. But good call in actually looking at.
There's some background noise coming from somebody's video, which is a bit distracting. Some banging and yeah, that's better.
Yeah, Darab, do you want to add something?
Yeah. So what I wanted to say was that there's that background sound again. It's quite loud also.
Let's see who is not on mute. It's gone now, I think.
Okay. So what I wanted to say was that you've identified a water body that's very good. And like Chavi said, you've identified a whole list of problems. So you need to actually focus on one in particular. The other thing is you have you've identified who is affected, and that's something that I really commend you for, because you've really gone into detail on that. You've mentioned farmers, you've mentioned the biodiversity present in the river. So I'd like you actually to just say a few words about what exactly you mean by that. You've also mentioned recreational users, so I'd like you to just say a few words about what you mean by that. And you've also mentioned local communities. So you've really gone into detail to identify who is affected. How exactly they are affected is not totally clear. And plus, I just wanted to know how close is the Kosi River to where your school is and where your locality is. Is it possible for you to actually make a site visit to the Kosi River and observe firsthand, these problems that you've spoken about? So Team Lobster Kingdom, if you could just respond. First of all, is the Kosi River close enough for you to visit and observe?
There are two places. One is just 15 to 20 minutes away and one is half an hour away, and we are planning to visit both the sites.
Excellent.
So I
Okay,
would,
that's
sorry.
go ahead, Chavi.
So I would suggest when you visit these sites, then keep in mind, like Dara said, the 3-4 kinds of people that you have or biodiversity that you've brought up. And in these sites, what is available to provide an intervention, or what is affected, who is out of those 4-5 options, who is affected, how are they affected, and which one can you actually make a difference for? So when you visit, ask those questions to decide on your intervention. So,
Yeah, thanks for that, Chavi. The other question I had was, okay, first one was to be able to make a field visit. And I wanted to ask you about what exactly do you mean by biodiversity in the Kosi River? Can you give me some examples of what you meant?
So may I?
Yeah, sure.
So by the term biodiversity which we use here, we meant that variety of species of animals which live inside and outside the river, which means that aquatic life, and the mammal means the land life which also lives on the land. So that how they are getting affected by the pollutants and various other reasons.
Okay. So you're talking about, for example, the fish.
Yes, sir.
In the
Fish.
Kosi River, for example,
The
like
aquatic life.
right. So like the golden marsh eel, for example.
Yes.
Okay. My next question was about what did you mean by recreational users?
Swimming for these users, and if the water gets polluted, they're not able to do these activities in the river.
Sorry, I didn't. Could you please repeat that? I think the first part of what you said got cut off somehow.
So the people who use the river for swimming and fishing purposes are the recreation users, and they get affected because the water gets polluted and they're not able to use the river for such activities.
Okay, got it. And what about local communities? Who did you mean? What are local communities?
So may I?
Go ahead.
So by the local communities, we meant that the villages and the people and the residents of those villages which are situated on the bank of river. Because of this pollution, they are directly or indirectly getting affected continuously. This causes harm to their livelihood, their health, and harm in many other ways.
Tavi, would you like to add something or
I
ask
think
something more?
just one thing, that since you're talking about these communities, when you visit the site, try to reach out to someone from the community and actually ask them what they think their problem is. Because sometimes we sit in a place far away and we imagine that this must be a problem. But when you actually talk to people who get affected, they can tell you better, more exact, more precise what the problem is. And that helps you to find a specific problem that needs an intervention. So talk to these people when you visit.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah, very good point. And also, when you've got a list of several problems, we have our own biases about which problems are the most important. Local communities might have a different perception of that, which we need to respect. When we come up with an intervention, it needs to be about their priority and not ours.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's very much from Chavi and my side. And this is for all the teams. Keep that as a guideline, okay, for your interventions. That it's about the priorities of the people who are affected. We may feel that no, that's not a problem. It's not a big deal. This is more of a problem, but when we design an intervention, it needs to be responsive to the people who are affected. Okay.
And I think this will be a good place to address all the teams.
Yes.
And to let you know that when you are trying to, if you think something is a problem and you want to solve it, you you first go and ask those people, like we mentioned. And if you think you're not going to go and ask someone else, try to solve the problem close to home. Try to solve a problem in my house, like mine, as in your friend's house, in your school. Sometimes it's not possible to visit somewhere. Don't try always. It's not important to always solve a farmer's problem whom you've never met. You may actually end up not really solving any problem. Solve a problem close by. Solve a problem of someone who's working in your school. And talk to someone who's working in your school and ask them, do you get enough water? Uh, talk to real people, find real problems. Try to move away from the big words, water scarcity, be safe. Try and find people, real problems, real situation. And that is part, the first part of the exercise is that move away from these big words and actually go to the specific. You can't go and meet a person, you can't go and meet a farmer, you can't go and meet a local community. Around you, solve their problems. That is as acceptable in this project as anything else. But be specific. Okay. So
Yeah.
Dara, we are a bit behind on time.
Okay.
We have done 4 teams and there are
Okay.
8 more left.
All
So
right.
I think we can do breakout. We can do one breakout room.
Sure.
And I can move into the breakout room with 4 teams.
Sure.
And you can stay here.
Mhm.
And we can regroup at 4:30 for the
Okay.
for assigning the second. I think we will need half an hour for assigning the second task.
Yep.
So so whoever is sharing the screen, can you please stop sharing the screen? Thank you so much. Thank you, Team Lobster Kingdom. Very nice points came up. Can I ask the Setu team to please move me and any 4 teams who have not yet presented?
Yes, ma'am.
And along with those 2 more teams, let's say dolphin and angelfish teams also, because they are also part of the process. So 6 teams like that can move with me. Let me tell you which teams can move with me so that it's easier for you.
Okay, ma'am.
And
So
Chavi, can I just interrupt for 1 minute?
Yeah.
Just wanted to add one more thing to what Chavi was saying. And I think this may have got missed out in the way that we've presented our rubric. So how we're going to actually evaluate your presentations is that please understand that when we talk about doing research, it's not only about looking up things on the internet and looking at books and articles and things. It's also about talking to people. Okay, so like Chavi said, talking to an employee of your school or talking to someone who you see on the street carrying a jerry can of water or waiting in line to get water from a public tap, talking to someone like that is also research. That's field research. And it's equally important, if not more important, than looking up stuff on Wikipedia. Okay, so please don't feel like, when we say that, tell us what research you've done, we're only talking about looking up stuff on the internet. No, it's also about talking to people. Okay.
Ma'am,
Yeah,
will
I
you be
think that's a great
suggesting
point.
us the team names?
Yes. So please move teams dolphin, angelfish, turtle, jellyfish, octopus, and starfish into the breakout room, and me into the breakout room. Rest of the
I'm
team.
sorry to say, but can you repeat those names?
Okay. Dolphin.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll be
Angelfish.
right back.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Turtle. Turtle
ma'am.
Bay, I think. Jellyfish. Let me find the full names.
Yes, ma'am.
Jellyfish Haven, Octopus Oasis,
Yes, ma'am.
and Starfish Reef.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, 6 teams okay, na?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am,
And
within 1 minute, we'll be doing that.
yeah, and me.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah, so they're making the breakout room and they will move a bunch of us there.
Okay,
Then you can continue here, and by 4:30 we can
we'll
join.
reconvene.
We'll
Okay,
reconvene in
Yep.
this
Yep.
way. Yeah, but I
Oh.
think there are very similar points coming up.
Hmm.
So okay, so I think I'm heading out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So who are the teams left with me? If you could just give me your names one at a time. And these are the first I want to hear the names of the teams who haven't presented yet.
So the starfish reef.
Starfish Reef. Okay.
Sir, seahorse shallows.
Seahorse Shallows. Okay. Seahorse Shallows. All right. And next.
Sir, octopus oasis.
Sorry, say that again.
I'm sorry, but Octopus Oasis will be going with Chavi ma'am.
Okay. So far I've got Starfish Reef and I've got Seahorse Shallows.
Sir, shark domain.
Sharks Domain. Okay. Sharks. Yeah.
Sir, seahorse sanctuary.
Sorry, Seahorse Sanctuary. Okay. Okay. All right. Seahorse Sanctuary. All right.
Sir, and one more thing, Starfish Reef will also be going with Chavi ma'am.
Okay.
There are 6 teams which will be going in with Chavi ma'am.
Okay.
Those are dolphin,
Yeah.
angelfish,
Yeah.
jellyfish,
Yeah.
Octopus Oasis,
Yeah.
Turtle Bay,
Yeah.
and Starfish Reef.
Okay.
Okay.
And who will stay with me? So I've got
So the
Seahorse
leftover
Shallows.
Yes, sir.
I've got Sharks Domain.
Yes, sir.
I've got Seahorse Sanctuary
Yes, sir.
and
Sir, Herbert Crab.
Hermit Crab. Wait, Hermit Crab is already presented, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So first tell me who are the other teams who will stay with me who haven't presented yet?
So within 1 minute, we'll be just coming back.
Sure. So while I'm waiting to figure out who else is going to be joining, why doesn't Seahorse Shallows go ahead and share their screen and show me their illustration?
So with you,
Yes.
there are 2 teams,
Okay.
Seahorse Shallow and
Yeah.
Seahorse Sanctuary.
Yeah.
Other 4 teams like Herbert Crab,
Yeah.
Lobster Kingdom,
Yeah.
Dolphin Lagoon, and Angelfish Harbor have already presented.
They've already presented.
Yeah.
Okay. And I've got Sharks Domain as well.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these 3 teams haven't presented yet, and the others have presented already, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, fine.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right. So Team Seahorse Shallows, why don't you go ahead and share your screen? And if you could also switch on your videos. So I
Excuse
can
me,
see your
sir.
lovely
Sorry to
face. Yes.
intervene. Sir, I have not got the invite to the breakout room yet, so I've rejoined the meeting. Can I get the invite?
Oh, you haven't from which team?
Sir, from Angelfish Harbor.
Oh, from Angelfish Harbor. Is someone from Team Setu there who can help out?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, could you help this
Sir, we have done
person
it.
out? You've done it, okay. Oh, and one more thing, Team Setu, it seems that maybe Chabi ma'am has got, how many teams has she got who haven't presented yet?
She have got actually 4 teams.
4 teams that haven't presented yet. Okay, fine. All right. So could you please give Team Seahorse Shallow the sharing right, so one of them can present their illustration and help them pin it so that they can share their illustration with the rest of us. Would be very grateful.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, I am from Team Seahorse Shallows.
Yes.
My name is Finish and I am a learner of Chavni Children's Academy.
Okay.
Sir, I would like to share our drawings that we have made on this project.
Okay. So first of all, can you all the team members from Seahorse Shallows, are you able to come on video, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please do that.
Sir,
Other team members, please.
Sir, in this picture, we have tell about River Dhela.
Okay. Now hang on just a moment. Team Setu, can you please help me out here? Can you find a way for Team Seahorse Shallows to actually share the illustration on the screen for me and for the others? Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so are you ready to start presenting?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so your time starts now.
So, sir, basically in this thing, we have tell about the River Dhela from where it is originating, and the River Dhela is originating from Ramnagar forest, from Nainital district. And by River Dhela is a source of water. It is also, there are some issues related to River Dhela, and such as we can see here, river bank erosion. It is the main issue related to this, that these all river bank was eroding, and this leads that some buildings were destroyed in this erosion, and this is affecting it is doing a big effect in our human life. And sir, as you can see that below there were interventions. I can zoom out there. So sir, there are some interventions which we can do, and this is and River Dhela, there that River Dhela water is diverted to the Tumaria Dam at the upstream of Kashipur, and this is used in irrigation, and some of most unnatural things are discharged in it, and that's why River Dhela is polluting and our source of water in our locality is depleting.
Okay, you still have 40 seconds left if you want to say something more.
Sir, by this downwards, we can see that there are some interventions and a wave is coming on. So by this, we can say that if we will not secure our River Dhela, so the things which we are doing to save River Dhela, so that the water will overflow there, and this will destroy all the buildings which were doing help in the security of River Dhela.
Okay, stop there. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that, Team Seahorse Shallows. You can stop sharing your screen now. Team Setu, if you could help out. And if I could see, could the rest of the team members from Seahorse Shallows also share their videos? That would be really nice, so I could see all of your lovely faces. Ah, yes, thank you. All right. So you have identified a geographical area, right? So when looking at your illustration and your 100 words, so we were looking at a few things, right? We were looking at observing and identifying a water source. You've done that. You've identified the river Dhela. You've told me that the source is in the Ramnagar forest. And you've also said that it's close to Kashipur, right? Is that correct, Team Seahorse Shallows?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And is it possible for you to make field visits to the Dhela River? Is it close enough for you to go there?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
I also went there.
Okay. And you've identified actually, you've identified 3 problems. You started out talking about riverbank erosion, but then you also talked about water scarcity because of water being diverted through the dam. And you also talked about pollution. So you need to focus on one particular problem, because solving 3 problems will be way too much to handle in 10 days, right? You spoke about buildings being destroyed. And you also spoke about interventions that are possible, and that's very commendable. But we don't want to go into that right now. Remember, interventions are the next step. That's your task 2, is going to focus on the interventions. So I'm not going to speak about that right now. You identified your water source. You told me what the geographical relationship was. Who exactly are the users is what you didn't tell me. Okay, so you have to work on that part. Who exactly are affected? Like the last team mentioned, they spoke about biodiversity. So aquatic life in the river. They spoke about animals that depend on the river, that live on the riverbank being affected, plus people. So who do you think are affected, and which group of people or biodiversity or whatever is it possible to make an intervention for? And then the justification. Okay, so that is the who is affected, and how are they affected? What's happening to them that needs an intervention? Okay, so I'd like you, Team Seahorse
Yes.
Shallows, to focus on that to finalize your presentation. Okay, and for your task 2, the focus will be very much on the interventions part. But for this, I think you'll have to remove that part from your illustration. There shouldn't be any mention of interventions at this stage. Okay, this is only the problem identification part and the justification. All right, but good job, and it was nice to hear more than one person in the team actually presenting and answering questions. So thank you, Team Seahorse Shallows. Let's move on to Team Seahorse Sanctuary. Could Team Seahorse Sanctuary please share your...
Excuse me, sir?
Yes.
Sir, our schools were closed because there will be holidays after the exam, so that's
Yeah.
why we could complete the task which you have provided.
Okay. So what can you present to me today? Can you say something about what you've thought about, or what have you been able to do actually?
Sir, as we were at home and we can't contact with our teacher, so we have not done anything.
Okay, so have you thought about these three things that we were wanting you to do? So one is to identify a water source, you know, or a water body, who the users are, what the problem is, who is affected, how are they affected. Have you thought about what could be some possible water bodies or water sources that you'd like to focus on?
Sir, as in the river, some
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm listening. And Team Setu, can you stop the screen sharing for Seahorse Shallows so that I can see the Seahorse Sanctuary? Thank you so much. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Team Seahorse Sanctuary. I'm listening. I don't see. Okay. Hello, are you with me, Team Seahorse Sanctuary?
yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, I want to focus on the factories which are being constructed near the factories, and they used to build the factories, and they used to not purify the wastewater, and they used to just dispose it in the water in the aquatic life, and which is not very which is, and it affect the aquatic life because there is a less in oxygen, and the aquatic life is to die. So my suggestion is that they should first remove all the chemicals from that wastewater, and then they should decompose in the river so that there will be no harm for the aquatic life.
Okay. Okay. So did you mention to me the name of the river that you're interested in?
Sir, that though I don't know. It means I just thought for this.
Okay. But what you're talking about is factories
Yes, sir.
and
So
pollution.
and this increase the air pollution also, because if there is evaporation, so the dirty molecules used to go in the air, and it can result to acid rains also, which can cause many skin diseases.
Yeah, true. True. Okay. So you're interested in looking at factories, the effluent, the industrial effluent from factories, basically the wastewater from factories causing pollution. And I think that's a good focus, but it's only a good focus if you are able to visit the site and actually see for yourself what the state of the water is. So if the river that you're talking about is close enough to where your school is,
Sir,
yeah,
so
tell
there
me.
is one more problem.
Yeah.
Like the river Yamuna is there, and there it's very contaminated because the people used to throw the garbage in there. So if it is being used by the farmers, so the dirty water is being used by the farmers to plant their crops, so it can affect the health of the people who used to eat that vegetables.
Okay. Okay. All right. So so let me just quickly say this, that so what you need to do is you need to identify clearly what river you want to focus on. Okay, so what I was saying earlier was so identifying your water source. Okay, what's the geographical relationship? So please have a good look at the presentation that we had shared with you, and have a look at the criteria, okay? And who are the users? Now you've said farmers, okay? So that's good. So then you need to speak to those farmers, all right? If you want to focus on this particular problem, then you need to actually speak to those farmers and find out exactly what their problems are. And if they were to pick the most important one, and also which problem is possible to make an intervention, to actually to do an intervention for, which one would they choose? Okay. And yeah, I think that's what I would say. And of course, you have to actually you have to actually come up with an illustration. So what I would suggest to you is that please try and get online with the rest of your team members, and so just schedule a couple of meetings, maybe every day between now. Today's the 23rd, so you could try and meet once, if possible, later this evening, and then again tomorrow, and then again day after tomorrow. Work together online. Give somebody the responsibility to come up with the illustration, but all of you can kind of decide what to make and what to show, so that you have something ready for us on the 26th. Is that fine? Is that okay? Seahorse Sanctuary? Yeah, is that okay? Can you do that?
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
great.
sir.
Great. Okay. Thank you so much, Team Seahorse Sanctuary. I'm sorry that you weren't able to show us an illustration today, but we will expect a completed illustration and your 100 words on the 26th. And in between, if you want to consult Chavi and I, please message us. Okay, you can ask the Setu team how to do that, and please message us. All right. Now let's move, because we're running out of time. I only have 3 minutes left. Team Sharks Domain, can you please go ahead and present your illustration?
Good evening, sir. Sir, actually, due to network connectivity issues, I'm not able to share my screen. But yeah,
Okay.
I can express the justification which I wrote.
Okay. So why don't you go ahead and just give me your go ahead and do your explanation, your 2-minute presentation for me.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Nowadays,
your time starts now.
Nowadays, people are regularly polluting water, which is major issue, and it may cause the aquatic life to disappear. One of the main problems is eutrophication.
Go ahead. Sharks Domain, you got muted in between.
Sorry, sir. May I continue?
Yeah, why don't you start again? I'll give you a chance to, just a second. Yeah, okay, go ahead. Start.
Nowadays, people are regularly polluting water, which is a major issue, and it may cause the aquatic life to disappear. One of the major problems is eutrophication. The excessive nutrient input often comes from activities like agriculture, sewage discharge, and industrial runoff. As a result, it can lead to overgrowth of algae and aquatic plants, causing water quality problems, oxygen depletion, and harm to aquatic ecosystems. The increased plant growth can also lead to harmful algal blooms, which can produce toxins that are detrimental to aquatic life and can even pose risk to human health. Eutrophication is a significant environmental concern worldwide. Thank you.
Okay, Thank you so much for that. You took just a little over a minute, so you were well within time. So you focused on the problem of eutrophication and how that affects aquatic life. So you've told me who is affected. You have told me part of how they're affected. Remember that eutrophication, I'm not sure, maybe I wasn't able to hear you clearly, but what eutrophication does, remember, is it prevents sunlight from reaching into the water, right? So aquatic
Yes,
plants
sir.
that are growing in the water uh, can't get the sunlight to photosynthesize, and so they die. And then their decomposition by bacteria uses up so much oxygen that there's very little oxygen left over for the other aquatic animals that live in the water, like the fish.
Yes, sir.
They
I have
can't breathe.
mentioned the same in my justification also I've mentioned the same.
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't, I wasn't able to hear that clearly. So that's great. So you mentioned that, and you mentioned that pollution is the issue that's causing the eutrophication. That's good. Now I want you to identify. You haven't clearly identified which water source you're talking about, whether it's geographically close to your school or where you live, whether it's possible to make a field visit there. So that's what you need to focus on for your final illustration. And if please share your illustration with us so we can have a look at it. Okay, even though it wasn't possible to look at it during this session, but Chavi and I would both like to see it. So if you could please share it with us, and if the team Setu could help us out with that. Okay. Thank you so much.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So actually, our midterm exams were going on, so now we had a break of some
Yeah.
days. So now our school will open on Monday. So
Okay.
then only we can see for illustration.
Okay. Okay. So you don't have an illustration to share with me today.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. All right. So I would suggest the same thing that I suggested to Team Seahorse Sanctuary. Please try and get online with the rest of your teammates and your teacher guide as well, and see if you can spend some time online. Give some responsibility, to one of your team members to make the illustration. Okay, and the rest
Sure,
of you
sir.
can all spend some time guiding, coming up with ideas. But actually spend some time in the next few days online, and if possible, if possible to meet face to face, then please do that. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you,
All
sir.
right. Yeah. Thank you so much, Team Sharks Domain. And I think Team Setu, it is 4:33, so we need to reconvene and move on to the second part of our session, which is to talk about task 2.
Yes, sir.
So if you could please close the breakout room and bring Chabi ma'am and the other teams back together with me. Hello, Team Setu.
Yes, sir.
Are you able to close the breakout room?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
We are working on it.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, after 1 minute, the breakout room will be closed.
Okay, thank you. Hi, Chavi. You're muted.
Did you do the Turtle Bay team? Because I think most of the
No.
team was here. So I don't know
Yeah.
where is the Turtle Bay team. There is only one person who was there with me.
Yeah.
I don't know where is the rest of the team.
Ma'am, Turtle Bay was unable to join because of some network issues.
Okay, so there is one of you. Dara, we have this one team we were not able to complete. Can we have a quick look here?
Yeah, I had two teams that were not able to submit illustrations.
Okay.
And yeah, Team Seahorse Sanctuary, there was unfortunately only one team member who was online. And then towards the end, when I was discussing giving my feedback, then another team member joined. So there were two from Seahorse Sanctuary. And then Sharks Domain also was not able to submit their illustration. I think both of them had their exams going on. So they weren't able to actually find time.
They'll have some more time. So I think.
Yeah. So what I've told them, I told both teams that please get together online over the next few days and assign one of the team members to go ahead and develop the illustration based on the feedback I've given. And if you have questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. Get help from Team Setu.
Yeah. So can we just take up Turtle Bay team here? Because I think here they're able to join. And somebody was presenting. So Turtle Bay team, can you please go ahead and I think two of you are here. Or three. I see three. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Can one of you please? I think they are also going to explain.
Okay.
So can you please go ahead and explain? Here, I think there are 4 people who are here. Okay. Turtle Bay team, can you please explain? Go ahead and explain.
I will give you your 2 minutes. Turtle Bay, are you ready? Are you ready, Turtle Bay?
I think it becomes harder to move from group to group, and sometimes just gets very overwhelming.
Yeah.
So,
I do see people from Turtle Bay.
Turtle Bay.
They're all muted though. Can you unmute yourselves, Turtle Bay?
So Turtle Bay, we have only 2 minutes actually, and then we have to move on.
Yeah.
So can you please do a short presentation? Otherwise, we'll.
We don't want to miss out. We don't want to miss out on what you have to say. So can one of you unmute yourself at least and tell us in 2 minutes a little bit about what your thoughts are?
We're not doing any marking and scoring today, so this is just for just to see what path everybody is on. Yes, we have somebody.
Oh, great. So your time, Turtle Bay, starts now. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Jasmeet from Turtle Bay team. Today I'm here to say about earthen pots. Earthen pots are purely in naturals, which help in spanning the heat equally throughout your dish. They take longer than usual cooking times and retains the moistures and nutrition of your food inside the pots. Besides this, they add an earthly flavors to your dish along with the designs of slow cookings. And earthen pots water was also good for our health.
Data, you're on mute.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Turtle Bay. You've still got more than a minute left. You can say more.
So I think you have identified a source, a water source, which is the earthen pot. That is what you will be working with. Am I correct?
Turtle Bay, is this is the earthen pot the water source that you're interested in focusing on?
The creator describes the relations between the pods, their hormones and connections with each other. At the points when pods were set because their communications were caused by somebody.
I was not able to understand that. Darab, did you follow?
No, I wasn't really able to understand that.
So I think in the interest of time,
yeah,
we have to move forward. Turtle Bay, if you have this written somewhere, can you please put it on chat, and then once the session is done, we can come back to your team separately, like and we can talk about it. But we should move on, just in the interest of time.
We do need to do that. Yes.
Is that okay, Turtle Bay? Can you share what you've written on the chat so that we can come back to it? Setu team, can you take a note of that, and we'll move forward. So everyone, this has been quite interesting, but I can understand if it's also been a little exhausting because well, all of you have been it's a lot of hard work that has gone in. So it's very nice to see everything come up. But what we will do is now we will start talking about the interventions, and what is your next task is what we will assign now. So I will share my screen. Is it visible, my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so where do we go from here? Yeah. So these are some of the initial slides that you've all seen. They're just here for, sort of reminding us that what we are working on is we are reimagining the water around us, and considering today's presentation, what is important is the water that is around us, that is accessible. Okay, so that's something we have to take care. And we are trying to reimagine, right? So it exists in this form today. Identifying what is the form today is very important to actually imagine what it can be. So your access to the water that you're talking about is very important. And that has come up in multiple presentations today. Okay. So these are the tasks that we have already shared with you. Task 1, you're already sort of doing it. All of you have thought about it to quite a large extent. And today we will talk about task 2. That is, what kind of interventions are possible, and the task you have to think about what kind of interventions are possible in whatever the problem statement you have. And then you have to pick up one of those possible interventions to start designing, planning the design for the specific intervention specific to the need that you have identified. So being specific is very important. You can start from generic, but being the specific need and specific intervention is what we are looking for. This is again something that we have already gone through. What is it? What is the purpose of doing these exercises? What we want to focus on is not the ultimate model that you're going to make. Okay, but it is a process that one has to go through to actually be able to make a change. How to be a change maker. Change maker requires you to think in terms of the process. What change is not a step function. It's not blue today, blue yesterday, black today, blue tomorrow. It's not that. It is what is the journey between water from going from blue to black, and what is the journey from black to blue. The process matters. And that is why you are going to be scored on each task, and not just what you're presenting at the end. Okay, so that's what this is. Some of you have shown collaboration. I would say most of you have shown collaboration in some way or the other, which is good. some of you are thinking not just you're thinking multidisciplinary, you're thinking about livelihoods, you're thinking about floods, you're thinking about diseases, you're thinking about people, you're thinking of biodiversity, you're thinking about different things, which is good. Okay. The last session we discussed extensively. We collaboratively made slides which give examples of where is water around you and what aspects and issues do we observe. And a lot of things we touched there were generic, and our task is to go to specific. And today, pushing yourself to think about how can I make a change is going to help you think about specific things, because you can't do everything. None of us can. What is that small change that you can make in the world is important. And that is why we're going to talk largely about the interventions today. Okay. Now, what kind of interventions are possible? So what we will go through is a list of possible types of intervention. There can be more, you can have more ideas, but you can also pick up from some of these. We will share these slides and adapt these to solve a problem near your home or near your school or whichever place that you want to, specific location. Yeah. So Darab, do you want to explain this one?
So I've got two examples of physical interventions. And now I know that you're not going to be able to do something like this in 10 days, but we are talking about reimagining water, right? So if you see that, this is something that could help solve a problem or transform a water body or a water source, then maybe you could think of making a model or something to represent water harvesting structures. So I'd like you to just go ahead and read the I don't want to read out from the slide because you're all capable of reading. So go ahead and read what's on the slide. But what I want to say is Tarun Bharat Sangh is a pioneering organization. It was started by an inspirational guy, Rajendra Singh Ji, who is an internationally recognized water conservation leader. He's from Rajasthan, and he's done some amazing work in Alwar district, where literally, I mean, rivers which had been dry for decades and decades, he's actually made them come alive again and flow 12 months of the year. And this is how he's done it. So it's certainly not rocket science. Rainwater harvesting. Next slide, please. And this is closer to you. So Sachinanand Bharti is also a guy who was inspired by Rajendra Singh Ji. And he lives in a place called Ufrenkhal, which is in a very remote corner of Pauri district. It's overlooking Salt Taluka of Almora district, and particularly a town named Masi, which is down in the valley. So standing at the edge of Ufrenkhal village, you can look down into this valley and see the town of Masi down below you. And he's also done amazing work. I've actually visited this village and I've seen for myself this very steep ravine, which again had been dry for many, many years, it's become a stream or a small river which flows 12 months of the year, just by what he's done, digging chals and making small little little check dams and basically hollowing out all the little waterfalls. Next, please.
So this is a kind of a technological intervention, and these are done by some scientists. So the expectation from you is not to actually design this, but to sort of think on these lines if you wish to. So these are actually small turbines which are designed and tested, and they're set up on canals in the rural areas. and the water flows in these canals, and it is used for irrigation. But this flow of water turns these turbines and generates electricity, which is used to power certain areas within the village. So this is a very local problem. One is to build an entire dam, right, and provide electricity. And these are more local solutions, and especially in the hilly areas, these micro pico hydropower plants are being tested and tried more, because very often building the bigger dams lead to several other problems. So these kind of issues are being explored. But of course, you can think of some smaller problems as well, and I will solutions as well, and I will leave that sort of imagination to you. But this is also an imagination that you need turbines to move. Do they always have to be big? No, they can also be small. They can also provide electricity for a smaller village. Those ones can also be small. So thinking about on those lines. Another kind of intervention, scientific intervention. Here you can think about doing chemical analysis. Someone who's worried about the color of the river. Why is what changed? We can just say wastewater came into it, but what changed? What is the composition? Was this wastewater? I mean, is it because of a textile industry? Do you have a textile industry that changed it? Do you have a mobile phone industry that changed it? Each one of them is going to add a different chemical to the rivers. So can you think of some simple chemical analysis that you can do in your own schools? Yeah, so those things is something that you can think of, and then if you can think, find out, okay, this is more than what is recommended, then you have a way of trying to go making that. Your intervention is making a report, and showing, okay, this is what has changed. Upstream, before the industry, we don't have this much. After the industry, we have so much. You can think of different places, different ways of doing it, but scientific or experimental intervention could be something like that.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Questions?
Can we take questions at the end, please? This is just in the interest of time. Then only the people who have questions can stay, and the others can, call it a day. Okay, so let's take questions at the end. Thank you. This is a group. So this on the left, this is a group that realized that along the river, there was a lot of plastic bottles. A lot of people had come and thrown stuff, and they meet weekly to clean up different parts of the river. Right. So it's a weekly river cleanup. It's an intervention. And the intervention part of here is that you have to bring people to the river. And that is by no means easy to do. Okay, so that in itself is an intervention. How do you plan that what will you tell people to, to come, and why should people come and clean this? So how do you plan to make this kind of an intervention? What do you pick up? How do you arrange for gloves? Where does all this garbage go? So that is the whole plan. There's a design. I think somebody's not on mute. Can you please all be on? Okay, thank you.
That's better. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So how your design in that case would be, how do you plan this intervention? How do you bring people to the river and clean? How do you are you going to get gloves? Are they going to get gloves? What kind of things are you going to pick up? So those kind of things. The other is on the right hand side is someone who's they're measuring the depth. I think the depth in the wall in the well, but basically analyzing that you have a well, and then what are the things that you can analyze about your well. If after the monsoons, it is like there's so much water inside. If you pick up something, some of the material under, can you test it? So these things can lead to reports, which can lead to some actual real interventions, right? So grassroots action is one that you can try to choose from. Another is philanthropic intervention. Somebody mentioned earthen pots, right? There are a lot of places in India where which are arid, more desert-like, and not everybody has water. Not everybody has cars to drive around in. Many times people have to take bicycles, or they have to walk from home to work and back, and they have to walk kilometers. And it's you don't have water because the sun is beating down. Then the people who can manage, they provide these earthen pots at different places on the road. And this is one of the reasons, but there are other reasons why people do this as a philanthropic work, as a charity work. It's a form of charity to give water. It's a very cultural thing for us, right, to offer water to. So you could plan to, if you see that there is certain area where there are people who are working and there is no water source anywhere close by where they can use water, you can plan for this. You can design to make a philanthropic intervention, that if we put an earthen pot, that somebody takes a society takes a responsibility of filling this earthen pot daily. These workers who are working on the ground, maybe they're laborers, maybe they're I don't know, whoever, but there are a bunch of people who are living here, they don't have any water to drink around them. Then you provide that water through philanthropic efforts. Okay. So that's another kind of intervention that you can think about. Some of the interventions can be inspired from or weaved with some of the traditional interventions. So these are hundreds of years old structures which were built to access groundwater. Very often they were associated with places of worship. And even today they have groundwater, but they may not always be in a good condition. Can you clean these up? Can you bring the community together to clean these up so that this groundwater is now available for animals? Many of you were worried that animals are not getting water, right? So if your animals can come to some of these places, these are step wells. So I don't know whether you all have step wells, but you may have ponds. And if your animals are coming there, can you get a community together to clean up? So this is a form of this is another form of intervention that you can do. This cultural intervention. How do you talk to people about water? How do you make them aware? How do you make them care about water that is around you? Or simply, if you want to bring them to water and clean it up, can you before you bring them there, can you have some sort of cultural, performing arts, visuals, way of interacting and engaging people, making them talk about water? So you can plan for can you do so? This would be a little bit like a performance where you're trying to say something, or it would be like an event planning. So some sort of a cultural intervention. Another kind is social intervention. So not everybody gets equal amount of water. There are people, and I don't know if you have experienced this or heard this, but sometimes people are not allowed to drink from certain taps, certain ponds. They're not, because of their social status, because of their caste. That's one of the issues. The other issue is so okay, let's just talk about that. So this is on the left. It is a story about a child who is your age. She was, I think, in 7th standard. Now she's in 9th, and she was a Dalit. She is a Dalit, and she tried to access water from a tap where, according to the other people in the village, she was not allowed to drink. So in protest, she ended up hitting an older woman, and that older woman took her to a court, and this child was almost sent to jail for trying to drink water. And this is a very recent story. Are there people around you who are not able to access water because of such reasons? And can you bring their stories? Can you interview them? Can you make some way to bring their stories known to the larger public? Then there are also women who they don't just carry water. You look at your own homes. how many of like, who is in charge of taking care that there is water in the house all the time? Who has to get back home and make sure that when water is coming, it is filled? Is it always the girls in a house, or is it always the boys? Who's doing it? And if one, you can do a census, you can do a calculation. In my society, so many girls and so many women are responsible versus so many boys or men are responsible. Can we change that in some way? Is it possible to change it? Should we change it? These are also points that you can bring about a social intervention in. Then you can do educational intervention, and these are some sites you can look at. These are the courses available. You can if you have a certain river that you want to talk about, or wastewater you want to talk about, people don't always know how to talk about it. They don't always know how to teach about it. Do you think do you think teaching is something you would like to do at some point in time? You can develop a small lecture course.
You have to do anyone intervention, right?
So please mute yourself. So you can, and you have teachers working with you, and they can assist you. You can have a sort of an educational intervention. You can also have some kind of an economic intervention. You can have a commercial intervention, but sometimes these interventions are exploitative and it's illegal. So let's not bring up the illegal and exploitative intervention. So like suggesting that we will provide someone with more bottled water is not an intervention that you want to suggest, because water is a lot of carbon footprint and there are a lot of issues with bottled water. So you will have to spend many years of research to actually accomplish it. Also, these are some of the examples. Here you can note that for a lot of the images, I have either given some links or I have given image credits. And this is something that we will expect you to do. If you are taking pictures, if you are doing research and you're using some articles, some website, we will like you to share, and we will tell you how to share these sources where you're doing your research. And whenever you present a photograph, we would like you to give a credit to the person who's taken this photograph. Sometimes it's websites. So Wiki Commons is a very good website where you get pictures which you're allowed to use for other things. So keep in mind that you have to give these credits, image credits. Okay? So I'll move on and we'll come to the actual task of what kind of interventions are possible for you to do for your specific needs. And out of all those interventions, which one intervention do you choose, right? So you have to give us some a bunch of interventions possible and then choose one from that. And whoever is not mute, may I please request you to mute, or I will just do it. Okay. Okay, let me just mute you. Okay, so Dara, do you want to talk about the design?
Sure. So we have unfortunately gone over time. So both Chavi and I do apologize for that. But we hope that by going over time, we're also clarifying and explaining things a little better and not rushing through things. So we really appreciate all of you who are still here, and we'll totally understand those who have to leave. Please don't let us stop you. But I just want to really quickly say that task 2 is focusing on, remember we spoke about the blue section, which is inquiring and analyzing. And we spoke about the yellow section, which is on developing ideas. So task 2 is very much focused on developing the ideas, okay? So when we're talking about, possible interventions, we're talking about developing those design ideas, okay? We're talking about developing your design specification. So in other words, how is this going to make a difference? How is this going to transform the water source, right? And then you're going to look at the pros and cons. And that is where you're going to actually decide on one particular intervention that you think makes the most sense and which is the most practical. And then, of course, you're going to present it, right? And that's the part where it says develop planning drawings or diagrams. Next, please. Okay. Now, just to tell you, again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but this is just to guide you to the rubric. Okay. And let me just make this totally clear right now. Now, when you normally submit an assignment and you receive marks, it's usually based on percentage, right? A rubric is not like that. Okay. So those numbers do not represent percentage. So if we're talking about a particular band, which I spoke about last time, and I'll come to that in a minute when I actually show you the rubric slide, but we are talking about those numbers are actually representing a level of achievement, okay? So here, what we're asking you to do is we're asking you to break up the task into a kind of checklist. So what we have in front of you here is a checklist. So please pay very close attention to this. This is what we're looking for in your task 2, okay? So read this very carefully and follow this, okay? And also look at the rubric to see what is the highest level of achievement, what are we looking for that will tell us that you're in that highest level of achievement, okay? So we want you to identify more than one possible intervention. You know, you like the idea of doing this, or this, or this, or this, okay? And also look at how each one of those interventions can actually transform or solve the problem. And then look at the pros and cons of each one and decide on one, which is the most practical, the most feasible, okay? Obviously, we want you to describe why that's going to work the best, right? So we want you to explain your reasons for selecting that particular intervention, okay? Why did you find that one the best one? And then your research, okay? So we want you to show us that you've actually done some homework. So the most important thing is the process of how you reached your choice, okay? So we want you to describe the process that you followed to select your intervention, right? So we looked at this, and this. We got ideas. So describe the main points you found while you were researching, and please provide citations, okay? So if you looked at a book, if you interviewed somebody, if you went online and found something on Wikipedia, please give the URL, okay? So that we can also have a look, okay? And please mention the name of the person you interviewed, where they live. If you got some good points out of a book, please mention the author and the title. And remember, it's the process that we're interested in, right? Because this is how you learn to become a scientist, and this is all about becoming a scientist, looking at real world problem solving, okay? So it's very important for you to understand the process that you yourself followed, all right? And finally, you need some kind of success criteria, right? You need to be able to figure out, and this is what's going to help you select your intervention, is how is somebody else going to know how well your intervention has worked, right? How much impact it has actually had on transforming the water source or solving the problem. Next.
Dara,
yes, go ahead.
We have 10 minutes.
Okay.
So maybe we can discuss the 7, 8 and the highlights of the others.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the people are wanting to
okay
step out, but they also want to be a part of this.
Okay. All right. So, like I said, I just want to, again, I want to reiterate this. Please understand, a 7-8 level does not mean a 70, 80 percentile or above 80 or something like that. No. We had to put numbers in there because that's what our brain is able to comprehend. We're just saying that this is the highest level of achievement. And these numbers are just a symbol of that. Okay? So that's why we're using these numbers. Please don't equate these with percentages. Okay? So a 7-8 level means that you have fulfilled all the criteria that we are looking at. All right? And this is what we want to see from your task too. Okay? So we want you to present more than one possible interventions. We want to explain how they can transform the water body or source. Then we want you to present your chosen intervention, describe your reasons why you decided, and then explain your process of selecting your intervention, right? Describe your research, provide your credits, and provide some success criteria. Tell us how will somebody who knows nothing about this project come in and be able to, an independent observer come in and be able to say how well your intervention worked, how much it helped. Okay? And then basically, this is the top level, okay? So the other levels below this all are asking the same thing, but basically with gaps in it, okay? So if we come all the way down, Chavi, if you scroll all the way down to the 1-2 level, you can see the 1-2 level is where you only present one idea, right? What we are looking for is you actually tell us, well, we looked at maybe 4 different ideas. If you only present one idea, you'll only reach this level. Okay? If you only use generic criteria and you don't show us any evidence of research conducted, then you will only be at this level. Okay? If you only present one success criteria, then you'll only be at this level. Okay? Scroll up to the 3-4 level, Chavi. 3-4 level. Okay, so you can see that this is progressively the demands are just becoming more. So I'm not going to go through each and everything. I think you get the idea. Okay, this is just telling you the level of your achievement, right? How much work you put into it, how well you follow the instructions. Please read through this rubric and the slide before this very carefully. Treat it like a checklist and tick off each strand. Have you met this? Have you done this? Have you done this? And that's how you can reach the 7-8 level. Okay? That's all I want to say. And go ahead, Chavi, explain this.
So this is the way that we want you to submit this particular task. We want you to submit them either as videos where the participants can be videoed, or as audio bites where you can just speak and you can record the audio. In this maximum 3 minutes audio or video, we want participants to speak about all the interventions that they thought were possible and the ones that they researched on. And based on the research, the pros and cons of each of these, your research would include the pros and cons and everything, and then which intervention, not invention, I would edit that, which intervention was finally chosen by you and what was the reason that you're choosing this. And then what is the criteria for someone to judge the success or impact of this intervention. We add drawing illustrations of photos which with proper credits, but only for the chosen intervention. So you don't have to provide, because this is what you will finally build as a model, or your final submission is going to be on this chosen intervention. So you want to see some drawings, illustrations, photos, something related to this intervention come up, but only after you have researched a few more interventions. Then we want you to add a slide or a document, make a slide or a document where you are putting in all the sources. These are websites, book, newspaper articles, people that you interview. All of this has to go in a document or in slides, and you will be sharing that with us. Remember, as always, you will be assessed for the content and not for the aesthetics. So even if you give us very simple drawings, that's okay. Simple photos, that's okay. It doesn't have to be super fancy. It's a content and the process that we see come. Going from that generic to that specific why, how, research, those are the things that we want to see. And also keep in mind the feasibility of your plan. When you choose this intervention, is it can you actually go and ask that industry to just stop working? No, you can't. But what can you do? You can make a report, right? That you can submit to this industry or submit to someone. So your intervention, the design of your intervention has to be feasible. It's something that you can do and not, something which is just too out there. Because your next task is going to be about making this prototype, making this model. It can be a model, it can be an illustration, collage, it can be a performance. You want to do a play to tell people about problems of people, inequitable distribution, people not getting enough water to drink, anything, any kind of, you want to do a performance, you want to make a video, you want to do a curated walk, you want people to come to the water, you want to clean up, to make a learning module, whatever it is. Think of remember, that's what you will be doing after 26. You will be actually making a prototype for this. So remember, when you choose your intervention, what is the feasibility of your intervention? That is very important. This is what we expect you to do. Today you showed us sort of kind of rough versions and people were sort of gearing up. But on Tuesday, we will share a Google form with you, and we will basically tell you how, but you will submit a final task 1. In terms of the content that is final, you will be scored on that. Both task 1 and task 2. We have today's session, we thought we would give some inputs, but your task 1 and task 2 have to be final during your submission on 26th itself. Okay, and that is when we will assign you task 3, where you will start building the prototype. So if you are not clear about task 1 and task 2, you really cannot build that prototype. You cannot say, okay, I will build this prototype in 1 day, because we are judging you for the process. Okay, so on 26th, you will submit final task 1 and task 2. And task 1, you already have the slides. It's 1 image, and if you need 100 words, those 100 words are very specific. They are to support your image, but not give big picture scenarios, but to actually support your task. Very, very focused. And task 2 is a video, video or audio bite. It's images related to your intervention, chosen intervention, and a list of the sources that you have used to do your research. So there will be 5 kind of things that you will be submitting and that you will be scored on, and you will use that to make your final prototype, which you will submit on 30th, which will present on 30th, and then final presentation will be on October 2nd. So that's it. So
And
thank you
I'll
so
just
much.
add one more thing, just to clarify what Chabi was saying. So you can submit either video or only an audio file, but on the video you are explaining. So there will be, team members talking also, but what we're saying is it doesn't only have to be team members sitting and talking. You can also show us images behind you. Okay,
you can get creative with the video.
Yeah, as creative as you want.
But you will be assessed on the content, not on
Yes, only on the content, not how fancy it looks.
Yeah. So thank you so much for everybody who stayed back. We really apologize that we short time. We will try from our side to remain more on time. If anyone has any questions, we are here. to take any questions that you may have. We will share the slides with you. Yeah. Yeah, over to you, Team Setu.
Thank you, sir and ma'am. It was indeed an enlightening session. So now, if anybody has any queries, you can ask right away. As the session comes to its end, we would extend a sincere gratitude to our dedicated panelists for being our mentors. Thank you, Darab sir and Chavi ma'am. Also, an unpaid thanks to Patron for joining us and making this session a success. As you all are aware, next workshop is on 26 September, 3 to 5 p.m. on visualizing water challenges and innovative interventions. See you all there. Have a great evening.